Lainey friends, and welcome to another Makeup in a Movie, where I do my makeup.
And I talk about a movie.
And this week we're doing kind of a throwback to a movie that I'm sure you've all seen, and if you haven't, then it's on Netflix, so why don't you? And that is
Lilo and Stitch.
And basically for this look, I am going to be using the Too Faced Semisweet Chocolate Bar Palette because I haven't used that yet. And I have also here a Coastal Scents lipstick that a subscriber wanted me to use, and which brings up a good point before we start, that one of the things we want to kind of do in the future is put it to you and have you guys decide maybe what palette or lipstick that I'll be using in an upcoming Makeup in a Movie. So if you are interested in that, make sure that you follow us on social media, which will be linked down below here for you, or down in the description bar, so that you can be a part of that voting process. And remember, Ohana means family.
Family means subscribe.
Start off by saying that, like, it's been a while since we did one of these. Unfortunately, we have been quite busy. So we're here, we're doing this. Okay, so basically what's happening from the makeup look of this is I'm going to be using this as an eyeshadow base. This is the e.l.f. Smudge Pot in Ain't That Sweet, and I'm just going to use that as a base over my lids. And then of course I'm using the Too Faced, this is the Semisweet Chocolate Bar Palette, and I am going to be using these beautiful shades because I haven't really used these yet. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use peanut butter, that's this one right here, all the way across the lid and around, up pretty much up way, probably here on the crease. And then I'm going to take Truffled, that's this color right here, and I'm going to put that up and into the crease, and then I'll come back and kind of check in and tell you where I am after that. So, do you want to talk first about why we are even talking about this movie that's been out for years and years?
Yeah. The theater by us, Cinemark, they're our new like home base for going to movies now in theaters, and they have something called Disney Screen, where they show older and classic Disney cartoon animated film, and not always. They have some live action classics as well, like yeah. Treasure Island and Tron and stuff like that.
I think they're doing like Princess Diaries and Enchanted and Newsies coming up in June. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. You get to, it's $5 to see a movie, but then it's also an all-day pass. So they show like 4 movies a day, and you can basically pay once and see all 4 movies for $5, which is pretty awesome, pretty good deal. So they were showing Lilo and Stitch. It was Pets Week, so they had like Lilo and Stitch and Bolt and Homeward Bound.
Oh,
that was a favorite of mine when I was a kid. And one other one, Old Yeller, which would probably be a little depressing.
I want to sit in the movie theater, really.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'd rather stay at home and watch that one. So we decided to see Lilo and Stitch. Lainey's kind of a fan, I guess.
Yeah, Lilo and I love Stitch. It's one of my favorite Disney characters. My favorite princess is Merida, but my favorite Disney character is Stitch because even though he's kind of a little mischievous and whatnot, he is completely adorable because he's so inquisitive and he, you know, wants to find out about things, and he inherently wants to be good, but he's just made bad.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that. I've always been a fan of this. The movie came out in 2002 and is one of the last couple of Disney animated films that was made traditional animation style, which is hand-drawn and such. Yeah, it was interesting seeing it again on the big screen and just kind of in a more like movie environment. Every time I've seen it, has just been like on DVD at home or whatever, or Netflix or something.
Did you ever see it in the theater when it first came out?
I didn't, no. To be honest, I just did it, I mean, it looked cool, but I was just like, it was at a time where I was like, eh. I mean, I don't remember what else was out at that time, but it was just one that didn't like grab me at the moment.
Right.
I was like graduating high school around that time, I think. That was a long time ago. But the thing that was cool about seeing it in theaters is that I kind of caught a lot of stuff that I didn't notice before. Like at the beginning, when they were talking, like they had this like alien council and they kind of like were discussing what to do with both Stitch, Experiment 626, and the guy that created him. They were like kind of deciding what to do, and they were talking about some of the features of 626 and one of them was that he is really quick to learn and pick up stuff. He adapts quickly, and I didn't really get that, and it made so much more sense like later on in the movie with him like picking up and, you know, realizing some of the stuff that's going on around him with like the family and the little duckling story. So, and I was like, that makes more sense now. That's actually kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah, that's why, like, in the beginning when he gets put into the ship and then he's, like, up to his neck in the ceiling, and they have the little bio guns, and that's why he figured out so quickly that if he spit, the bio guns would follow his spit. So that was, like, one other clue that, you know, he learned very fast.
Yeah, yeah. And at Disney World, at the Magic Kingdom, they have an attraction called Stitch's Great Escape.
Is it still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and basically you're strapped in like, Stitch is in a tube. Well, he's 6'2", at that point. And they're supposed to transport him somewhere, but of course he gets loose. But the thing I didn't notice before is that those cannons that are in that scene are in that attraction.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Because they like try to shoot at him and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of a neat attraction if you're into Stitch and such.
I forgot to tell you too, everything that I have used on my face before this is going to be down below in the description bar, as always. So basically what I'm going to use now is Hot Fudge. That's this one right here. It's kind of more of a deeper purpley brown. I'm going to use that just a little bit in here. And then this one right here, which is Blueberry Swirl, which I'm sure you can understand why I might be using that. I'm going to use Blueberry Swirl with it as well, and I'm going to kind of try to mix the two colors together to have a deeper crease line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this color right here. It's Nougat. It's kind of more of like a pinky color to blend out the harsh lines. I also kind of wanted to use this color right here. It's called Pink Sugar, and it's kind of this glittery color. And I'm going to put that one on my lid, and then a little bit like in my lower lash line. And I might use a little bit of Blueberry Swirl in my lower lash line too, but we'll see. We'll see how that worked in the crease. Yep.
So Lilo and Stitch, if you don't know the movie, definitely recommend checking it out, obviously. This is about an alien that ends up on the planet Earth, and then island of Hawaii. Sure. And then they were watching him going towards Earth, and they're like, it's like 80% water, and they're like, well, he'll drown then. Fine.
Oh, right. Okay, that's
And then they're like, oh, of course. They see him going towards a large body of water, the Pacific Ocean, and then as they scan in to see where he'll possibly land, the tiniest little thing possible, Hawaii, is where he ends up landing, and they're like, really? Out of all of that water, he manages to still hit land.
Right.
So he ends up there, and basically he manages to end up in a dog pound, and Stitch is the alien, Lilo. She's a little girl. She is being raised by her older sister. They're pretty much on their own. Their parents are no longer around. They seem to have passed away. They don't get into that too much in the story, other than they're no longer there, so you kind of assume they probably passed away. The older sister's having a hard time trying to raise Lilo because she's kind of mischievous herself and kind of trying to find her place. She doesn't really fit in with her friends and things like that, and other girls her age.
That's okay, because her friends are a little...
They were kind of bratty. Yeah, they were kind of bratty themselves too, yeah.
The Mean Girls of the Elementary Girls School set, yep, that.
Hawaii Mean Girls Elementary Edition. Stitch comes along, and they're kind of like, you know, similar in that, and they both kind of don't fit in, or at least they don't feel like they fit in. And they try to find their, you know, Ohana family. It's a really nice story. It deals with like family issues and, you know, things like that, and the whole time it's really fun and funny and cute with Stitch and all his stuff he keeps doing. And then of course aliens come after him to come capture him back, and that creates some mayhem along the way with some of their ways of trying to catch him. Yeah, and it's all beautifully animated. I think it's one of the best animated, like traditionally animated films that Disney had done.
Right.
They went back to their watercolor style for the backgrounds and backdrops and stuff in this, which they hadn't done since Dumbo, which I believe came out in the 40s. So yeah, that was their first time they had done that in a long time, and it was perfect for Hawaii. I mean, the way Hawaiian art and just even the island itself in real life feels is just very watercolor and beautiful like that. So.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, I was there for about 7 hours one time. But yeah, my father was in the military, so I got to go out there and kind of meet him at Hawaii and take his ship back to San Diego where I was living at the time. But yeah, we spent the day on the island of Oahu and got to go through Waikiki. And I mean, it's amazing. If you ever go to Hawaii, like your first time you go there, you'll just be like, this is insane. Like how beautiful this place is. You see it in postcards and pictures of movies, and you're like, yeah, that's how it looks in the movies in these pictures. But when you get there and you see how blue that water is and how white that sand is, it's like unbelievable. You're like, it can't be real because it's so crazy.
All right, I'm now gonna use my Jessie's Girl liner because I've chosen to keep this, even though it's kind of like more of a darker look, I've chosen to kind of keep it more natural. So I'm not gonna be using any false lashes, but I'm using my Jessie's Girl liner, this Lash Sensational mascara on the top, and the NYC Showtime on the bottom.
Yeah, and before, I think this was the last traditionally animated film they did. The one they did it before it was in 2000. That was The Emperor's New Groove.
Yes.
So I think this was the last one. I can't.
Actually, wasn't Emperor's New Groove after this one?
No. Well, according to IMDb, it was 2000. Yeah.
It's surprising to me because I actually worked at Disney World when both Emperor's New Groove, which was not called Emperor's New Groove when it first started. It was called Empire of the Sun or Kingdom of the Sun, something like that. And and when they started Lilo and Stitch. So I always get those two mixed up about when they started because they were kind of overlapping the projects as I was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really interesting to see the beginning artwork when I worked there. I mean, I didn't work in the animation building, but my roommate at the time did, so I was able to go in there and like during the tour, you know, you see the different pictures, and it was really cool to kind of see what they were doing. I just remember I was really disappointed for Emperor's New Groove because they had all these songs. It was going to be a full-on musical, and I really love like the Disney musicals, but it was about that time that it started to phase out the musicals, and then they decided that halfway through the movie, they were going to cut all the music and it was just going to be songs by Sting, which, you know, I like Sting, but I was just really disappointed that it wasn't an actual musical and it was just music by Sting. And I was like, really, Disney? And now they're kind of trying to go back to it more, so.
Okay. Alright, so something that I learned about this movie is that there's an internet kind of theory about Lilo and Stitch, or Lilo's family and her parents in particular. Basically, the theory is it has to also do with Cobra Bubbles, who is this guy that comes along and is kind of this caseworker from like Child Protective Services or whatever. But he's like this big, like military-looking guy, like kind of Men in Black looking. And so he shows up. But this theory is basically that Cobra Bubbles worked for the CIA, which you kind of know about in the movie. They say something near the end about that. But basically, he was a close friend and co-worker of Lilo's parents.
Which would explain why he shows up so suddenly, like...
Yes.
Hey,
so,
here I am.
Yeah, they worked together in the CIA, the parents and Cobra Bubbles, and after he made a promise to them that he would watch over their daughters when they passed away. So it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense in a way, but there's some supporting stuff. In that Lilo, you see in her room, she has all these pictures of like overweight people on her wall and stuff like that. She takes pictures, it's like a thing for her. Well, a thing is that there was a time when her dad had a mission where he had to look for someone that looked like that. So he brought along Lilo, or had her go out and, you know, I mean, who's gonna question a little quirky girl taking pictures of, you know, fat people?
Right.
So he had her going out there and kind of doing his covert picture taken to try to find the suspect.
Reconnaissance, alright.
Yeah, exactly. So that was one of the things. And then all the books in her room, like Road Maps of Iowa, Oyster Farming, Is It For You, Practical Voodoo, Fire Eating for Fun and Profit, that all belonged to her parents because that was due to the research they were doing for their covert operations.
That's funny.
So, were her parents CIA agents?
Were they?
I think it's kind of a fun theory. I think there are things later on in like other, like the TV show and other movies and stuff that kind of debunk that. But
which I kind of want to go back and watch. Yeah. I did want to tell you that for my lips, I am using the Coastal Scents. They're like a moisturizing lipstick, and the reason why I'm using this is because I had a comment on one of my other videos, and it was like one I did like last year maybe, even the year before. It was a couple years ago when I did originally get these and I did my first impressions, and they were asking for swatches and kind of like a mini review, like greater than what I had already done. So I'm going to be using one of these, but I wanted to swatch these for you. They don't have names. I have 01 and 02, and 01 I'm going to swatch on my hand. These are just really super creamy. This one is very pink. Like I don't know if you can see how pink it is, but this is what it looks like on the hand. And like I said, they're really creamy, they're really moisturizing, and I'm going to be wearing 02.
This movie was nominated for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars in 2002, and that was the second year they actually had that award out. The first year they had Jimmy Neutron was nominated, Monsters Inc. and Shrek. Those three were nominated for the first year, and Shrek won. This year, the year that Lilo and Stitch was nominated, they had a little bit more nominees. They had Treasure Planet, which was a Disney movie too, Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, Lilo and Stitch, Ice Age, and Spirited Away. And Spirited Away won that year.
So that is basically our recap of Lilo and Stitch. Good oldie bit of goodie.
Yep.
Yep. And again, if you are interested in our other Makeup in a Movie playlist, it will be linked down below for you as well. You know, we have a ton of movies coming up in May that are super big, like Civil War, X-Men,
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland is coming soon. All of those. So if you are not wanting to miss any of those, make sure that you subscribe and keep track of us. Also on social media, which I forgot to say, will be linked down below here.
Yep.
Sure. And below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep calm.
Stay zany.
Bye-bye.